Here are 10 of the world's most powerful siblings. And before you start watching this, please subscribe. It really makes a difference. Number 10, the Winklevoss Twins. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss pretty much hit the jackpot when it comes to life. They're super tall, good-looking Harvard crew guys who really invented Facebook, supposedly with Mark Zuckerberg. They sued him, social network, if you ever seen it. They actually won $65 million in cash. They spent that cash on Bitcoin. In April 2013, they held about 11 million in Bitcoin. The holding grew to be more than 1 billion in December of 2017. Number 9, the Koch brothers. Say what you will about their political persuasions, the brother Charles and David Koch are worth more than $40 billion and definitely earn a place on the world's most powerful siblings list. Koch Industries is headquartered in Wichita, Kansas. The company makes $115 billion in annual revenue. It's larger than IBM, Honda, or Hewlett-Packard, and is America's second largest private company. And number 8, the Williams Sisters. If you're looking for sheer dominance, mental and physical, on the court, look no further than the Williams Sisters. Between 2001 and 2017, they met in 9 Grand Slam singles finals. They're the first 2 players, male or female, to play in 4 consecutive Grand Slams, from the 2002 French Open to the 2003 Australian Open. And like any good sports figures, they do court some controversy, like when Serena in 2009 was fined $82,500 for telling a linesman, "I swear to God, I'll take this ball and shove it down your throat," after the linesman called a foot fault, which wasn't cool, that led to a match point. There's no question that these 2 sisters from Compton, California have dominated the sport of tennis. Their achievements collectively make them a lock for the Tennis Hall of Fame. Number 7, NKX2. North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un is one of the most powerful people on Earth, but did you know that he actually has a younger sibling that is a string puller and a mover and shaker behind the scenes? Her name is Kim Yo-jung, and she's believed to be 27 and the youngest sibling of the Supreme Leader. She was tapped to play a prominent role in her father's funeral ceremony back in 2011, and that put her on the radar of many foreign policy experts. Kim Yo and Kim Jong went to the same private school in Switzerland. Kim lived at the North Korean embassy with her brother under an alias. Kim was supposed to be the child of one of the domestics, the maid and the gardener. With access to a nuclear stockpile, this sibling duo, Kim Jong-un and Kim Yo-jung, are 2 of the most powerful brother and sister pairs around. Number 6, the Wojcicki Sisters. The first thing to know about the Wojcicki Sisters is how to say their name, so that way when you roll it off, you look so cool. It turns out there are 3 Wojcicki sisters. Susan Wojcicki is the CEO of a company called YouTube. Janet is a professor of pediatrics and epidemiology at the University of California, San Francisco, one of the premier medical institutions in the country and the world. And Anne is the CEO and co-founder of genetics company 23andMe. Yeah, these sisters have done pretty well for themselves, and when Esther Wojcicki was asked about their daughter's education, she said the most important period are the ages 0 to 5. She made everything into a game, did arts and crafts, and taught them how to do 3 things before they set foot in a classroom: how to read, how to count, and how to swim. Number 5, the Rodriguez sisters. There are 3 Rodriguez sisters. You probably know Gina Rodriguez because she won a Best Actress Golden Globe for her starring role on the hit series Jane the Virgin. But you probably didn't know Ivelisse Rodriguez, who graduated from Harvard Business School and is a partner at a major private equity firm. And not to be left out, Rebecca Rodriguez is the medical director at one of the best family health clinics in the country. But how did this Puerto Rican family from the south side of Chicago that lived in a rat-infested apartment and had their cousin murdered outside of their house live the American dream? They say it was their father who whispered 4 words to them every night while they were sleeping to speak to their subconscious. "I can and I will" was his mantra. And sometimes they would wake up and go, "Dad, what are you doing whispering in my ear?" And he was like, "Go back to sleep." Number 4, the Klitschko Brothers. Between the two of them, these Ukrainian heavyweights have held all of the boxing heavyweight championship titles for several years. Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko have more success than any other boxing brothers in history. And they're not just dumb athletes with big fists. They're actually super intelligent and have PhDs. In fact, in 2000, Vitaly became the first professional boxing world champion to receive a PhD degree in sports science. And then Vladimir followed along with one from Kiev University. But they're also atop a huge business and political empire with artist and athlete management firms, hotels, film distribution, and internet startups. One of the Klitschkos, Vitaly, is also the mayor of Kiev, and they even have an asteroid named after them. When it comes to sibling concussive impact, the Klitschko brothers are a knockout. Number 3, the Wright Brothers, of course. Wilbur and Orville were the sons of Milton and Susan Wright, and their dad was a bishop in the United Brethren Church, so he traveled a lot, especially internationally, and he often brought back presents from his trips. In 1878, he brought them a rubber band-powered helicopter. Wilbur and Orville were hooked, and they began building copies of it. Fast forward, in 1896, they began to manufacture their own bikes. They were making some cash, but they were already thinking about how to turn that cash into flight. And so in 1899, they developed a simple system that warped the wings of a biplane, causing it to roll right or left. They tested it in kites and gliders and a Kitty Hawk, as we know. Then with their boy, Charlie Taylor, a mechanic, they designed a gasoline engine light enough to fly. By 1905, they were doing figure eights over the Huffman Prairie, which today is the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Number 2, the Emanuels. The Emanuels are probably the top dogs when it comes to American power siblings. One, Rahm, is a Chicago mayor who earned the nickname Rambo during his earlier gig as an exceptionally aggressive advisor in the Clinton White House. His brother Ezekiel was one of the architects of Obamacare, and their brother Ari, of course, inspired Ari Gold on HBO's Entourage. Their father was in an Israeli paramilitary group, so he was a pretty tough guy that operated in the British Mandate Palestine. The Emanuel offspring numbers 4 sons and 5 daughters. They already have Yale, a Rhodes Scholarship, and a varsity equestrian from Dartmouth in their ranks. So many call them the Jewish Kennedys, and they definitely deserve number 2 on the power sibling list. Number 1, the Dulles brothers, 2 of the baddest ass brothers that ever walked the face of the earth. In 1953, for the first and only time in history, there were 2 brothers that were appointed to head both sides of American foreign policy. President Eisenhower appointed John Foster Dulles, the Secretary of State, and Allen Dulles, the director of the CIA. As children, they were obsessive chess players, and they used that same focus on the world stage. John Foster Dulles would rise to become the chief counsel to titans of industry, while Allen was the thug CIA chess piece that did all of the dirty work. In 1960, Eisenhower realized just how powerful the CIA had become, and said they had left a legacy of ashes. Independent researchers also say that LBJ and the Dulles brothers were behind the Kennedy assassination. From Bitcoin to boxing to world domination, siblings have the world by a chokehold. There is nothing more powerful than 2 people who come from the same womb, who unify together with their yin and their yang to tackle anything they want to put their minds to. So if you're parents who have kids, or you're thinking about having kids, or you have a brother or sister, or just adopting, there's nothing 2 siblings can't do. Subscribe to Decagon and join our community. Or hit like. Thanks.